Welcome back. In today's lecture, I am going to talk about the variational problem of functionals involving several independent functions. And why we are basically exploring this part of the calculus of variation, because in optimal control problem, our objective is to find a function which basically minimize a functional, or somehow we are telling that as a performance measure. So performance measure maybe contains several independent functions, and basically that is depending on the our problem statement. So what we have done till now, that we have formulated some basic problem of variational calculus, where basically functional is just contain one function, but here functional involves, if that involves more than one independent function, then that is little more realistic. You can, if you see the example of the car, whatever I have given in the first class, at that time you might have seen that we have two independent variables, that is position and velocity, and after that whatever performance function we have defined, that is function of position as well as the velocity. So what happens if we have several independent variable, and at that time again whatever four types I have discussed, that how to solve that kind of extremization problem, that is also one of the important area we have to look into before going to the original optimal control problem. And due to that reason, this lecture is also equally important. In order to save the time as well as whatever development we have learned, that is, it is possible to show that if one can understood the derivation for the scalar case, so by component wise one can also extend it for that any vector case or any case where several independent functions are involved. And due to that reason, I am not going to talk about that whenever we have functional, then how to calculate again the increment with respect to each and every independent function, and after that how to again collect the variation, and after that you can apply the fundamental lemma of the calculus of variation. So what I am going to do, I am just going to tell you the in the story. In the story means that what is extension whenever we have some kind of functional that involves several independent functions. So let us try to see the correlation. So till now what we have observed, that I have some kind of function xt, and that function is continuously differentiable, and basically this is subset of R. So basically I have to write here that this is basically that this belongs to continuously differentiable function, and after that what we are assuming that this continuously differentiable function is subset of R, means this is real valued functions. Now I have to basically optimize this particular functional, and here in the simplest variational problem, this functional basically just contain one variable and their derivatives, and as well as explicit dependency on the time. And how basically we are solving this particular problem, we are calculating the increment, and after that we are collecting the variation. We are just collecting the first order term. So you can see that variation with respect to the end point except end time delta tf, and after that coefficient associated with that, and after that this kind of integral basically that comes into picture, which basically contain the variation with respect to generalized delta xt. And after that, what we are telling that if we are going to find the necessary condition for the extremum or relative extremum, at that time we have to substitute variation equal to 0 and based on the boundary condition. So in simple case, t0 and tf both are fixed, xt0 and xtf both are fixed. At that time you can see that simply I have to substitute delta xf and delta tf both equal to 0. So these two things doesn't come into picture, and after that, in order to solve this particular variational problem or extremum problem, just we have to put this integral, whatever term inside the integral, that equal to 0, using the fundamental lemma of calculus of variation. And this equation is nothing but Euler equation. After that, what we have seen, we have second class of problem where basically t0, xt0, tf, but xtf is free. Tf is fixed but xtf is free. Then how to solve that problem? So whenever xtf is free, it means that delta xf is free. So whenever delta xf is free, then this is basically arbitrary. So we have to impose this equal to 0. But delta tf is fixed, so delta tf is 0. Due to that reason, this is automatically 0. So we have to solve two equations simultaneously. One partial differential equation that is coming from here, another from Euler equation. Similarly, what we have observed that suppose if t0 is specified and xtf is specified and xt0 is specified but tf is free. At that time, again using same variation problem, by substituting proper argument, one can able to solve or one can able to generate the necessary conditions. So last 4 lectures I have done, we have done the all possible cases. Now what is goal of today's lecture? In today's lecture we are assuming now I have basically n number of independent functions, and again I am assuming that all are continuous first derivative, and g, whatever using g I am going to define the some kind of functional which has continuous first and second partial derivative with respect to all argument. So under this assumption, again I am going to formulate some functional. Here you can see that xt is some kind of vector, so and that has n number of component x1, x2 up to xn, and x dot is again some kind of vector which has n number of component, that is derivative of x, and I have time. So basically now this g has n number of argument of x and n number of argument of x dot and independent argument t. Now I have to basically extremize this particular functional, again that map to some kind of real number, and I have to extremize this particular functional, and again I have different kind of boundary condition. In boundary condition I can assume that t0 and tf is fixed and xt0, that is again n number of component, some case this is fixed but xf is free, some case basically x0 xf is fixed but tf is free, and similarly I can able to make several combination. In some particular case we can also assume that partially that some component of tf is free. So using some kind of problem we are going to see that kind of condition also. So main theme of today's lecture is to just see how to generalize, how basically one can move from a scalar, means whatever functional we have defined, that is function of some scalar and their derivative. Now we have to generalize it. I have n number of independent functions, and after that we have to solve same variational problem, and this class of problem is basically comes into picture whenever we are solving real optimal control problem, because I have already told you that in several practical places I have more than one variable that is associated with, and at that time we have to solve or we have to minimize or extremize this kind of functional. So now you can see that same like whenever functional contain only a scalar argument and their derivative as well as time, we have to solve Euler equation. Similar kind of things here comes into picture, but that is in matrix form. So whenever I am writing dou g by dou x, it means that I have to solve basically whenever we have Euler equation, and if I have just one argument, then I have to solve some kind of second order time varying nonlinear differential equation. Now what happens that with respect to each variable, x contain here x1, x2, xn, so up to xn. So with respect to x1, again I have two differential equation, so I have to solve dou g by dou x1, and here all possible functions may or may not be available. Similarly here dou g by dou x1 dot, and here again similar kind of situation, and after that I will formulate two differential equation with respect to x1. G is some kind of a scalar quantity, because even if g contain n number of argument of x and their derivative and time, but this is some kind of a scalar quantity. So dou g by dou x1, similarly second thing is dou g by dou x2, similarly dou g by dou xn. So I have n number of 2n number of basically differential equation basically comes into picture by solving this particular equation whenever this functional contains more than one argument. Now I have 2n number of different partial differential equation. So in order to solve that, we need certain kind of boundary condition. And if you remember the previous lecture, then at that time I have told you that whenever we are finding the boundary condition, at that time during variation I have basically two parts. One part that is the variation of the endpoint. So endpoint contain time as well as the end state, and due to that reason I have some kind of term that comes into picture. Here you can see that this is due to final state and term associated with that. Similarly this is final time, and one more state or one more part whenever we are calculating the variation at that time, that is coming due to the general variation of x, and whenever we are putting that equal to 0, so Euler equation comes into picture. So in order to calculate the boundary condition, so in boundary condition basically I have to check this particular partial differential equation. Again, in order to solve this 2n equation, I have to check these kind of boundary condition. Now and I have already told you that we have to see, we have to very carefully, we have to see that TF is fixed or not fixed. If TF is fixed, then delta TF equal to 0. If this is not fixed, then this might be arbitrary, and whenever that is arbitrary, it means that we have to force that whatever term that is multiplied with this delta TF, that should be 0. Similarly, suppose if delta XTF is fixed, then their variation equal to 0, so automatically this term will not comes into picture. After that we have to force this term equal to 0 if TF is arbitrary. Similarly, similar kind of combination we have to do. Here again you can see that x here, that is not a scalar, that is again a vector. So again I have to solve, and with each x I have n number of differential equations. So we have to solve required number of differential equation based on case to case. It might possible in some place out of n number of state I can just able to understand that only m number of state is fixed. So at that time, in using this particular partial differential equation, I can fix the boundary condition. So Euler equation remains the same for each and every problem, just a scalar case is mapped to now vector. So in a scalar case, I have two simultaneous partial differential equation, or finally if you solve that, then I have non-linear time varying differential equation by solving that partial differential equation. Now I have 2n partial now I have 2n actually non-linear time varying differential equation, and how to calculate boundary condition, we have to solve this particular partial differential equation again. Now let us try to see the types, and I have told you that here I am just going in today's lecture, just I am going to talk about the generalization. So whenever we are going to talk about the generalization, at that time again in the same way I have to do the extension. So if you remember the previous lecture, at that time what we are assuming that xt0 and t0 both are specified, and similarly in the state are specified. So everywhere we are assuming, I have general assumption that whenever we are starting, I know the starting time of the state, and after that we are putting different condition on the final condition. If you remember first lecture, at that time I have also given the hint that suppose if final is fixed but initial is basically not fixed, then how to solve that problem. Again using we have to see the variational problem. At that time just we have one cannot put delta x t0, that is variation on x t0, that is might be arbitrary if that is not fixed. If that is specified, then that equal to 0. So basically, since condition everywhere tf, if you are talking about x tf and tf is fixed, and x t0 and tf is not fixed, that is not specified, at that time everywhere in place of tf in this particular boundary condition you can just substitute the x t0, and then similarly you are able to generate some kind of same kind of differential equation. Just you can substitute in place of tf, just you can substitute x t0. Suppose a starting time or starting time is given, but a starting state we don't know. At that time we have to do same kind of things. Now let us proceed towards the case where we are in each and every case what we are assuming that initial time and initial state are known to me, and after that we are just assuming that suppose final time and final state is given, then we have to find the necessary condition such that some functional, and in this particular classes of problem we are assuming that that functional contain n number of independent functions, and then we have to solve, or we have to give some kind of necessary condition such that that functional has some kind of relative extremum or some kind of optimal value. So here whenever I have x is x1 tf, x2 tf, xn tf, both are specified, at that time you can see that variation in xf means final state equal to 0, and similarly that delta tf that is equal to 0, and if I substitute here, then you can see that both term equal to 0. It means that now I have to just solve this Euler equation, and inside Euler equation I have to put the boundary condition at t0. I have what is x t0, tf what is x tf, and in this way I am able to give some kind of necessary condition such that when both endpoint are well specified, means time is known, state is known, after that means tf final time is known, final state is known, then boundary condition is simply whatever that is specified inside the problem, and actually problem become very simple, because here you can see that t0 is known, x0 is known, tf is known, xf is known, and you have to just solve 2n number of Euler equation, and in order to determine the coefficient we have to use these two boundary conditions. Now try to see the type 2. Again, same like the scalar case. Now I am assuming this as a vector, and I am assuming that xtf is free, but time is specified. So whenever time is specified, it means that variation with respect to time, that is equal to 0, and delta xf, that may be arbitrary, because xtf, that is vector and that is free. So now in boundary condition, you can see that initial state is known. So I can put this as this information from initial time. So t0 and whatever x0 is given. So from that we will get one set of boundary condition. In order to get the second set of boundary condition, now I have to take help of this particular observation. Delta xf, that is arbitrary, and delta tf equal to 0. So now let us come to here and try to see, because I have told you that this is the generalized expression for the variation whenever we are assuming that initial time and initial state is fixed. So now you can see that this is arbitrary, delta xf is arbitrary, but delta tf is fixed, so that is equal to 0, and due to that reason second term is equal to 0. So now since delta xf is arbitrary, but in order to find the necessary condition for optimal of that particular functional, I have to put that equal to 0. So I have to force the coefficient which is multiplied with delta xf, that equal to 0. So this part should be 0, and due to that reason you can see that this kind of, basically in second case I have, in order to calculate the boundary condition, so I have dou g by dou x dot, and here again x, whenever I am writing, then that has n number of component, x1, x2, xn, and this equal to 0. So in this way I am able to calculate the boundary condition. Again I have 2n number of equation to determine 2n number of 2n equation to determine 2n constant of integration, because each and every case I have to solve the Euler-Lagrange equation, and Euler-Lagrange equation is basically associated with some kind of delta x, means generalized variation, and generalized variation is arbitrary, and due to that reason we have to put coefficient that multiplied with generalized variation, that is equal to 0. Due to that reason Euler equation comes into picture. Now let us try to see the case 3. So in third case, basically now tf is free and xtf is fixed. Whenever tf is free, then what happens, that delta tf is arbitrary, and in this case basically delta xtf, that is equal to 0, and if you again substitute it, then you are able to find this kind of condition, that basically this term is associated with delta tf, but delta tf is now arbitrary, so we have to put coefficient equal to 0. So main idea, just you have to either by practice, it basically comes into picture, that if you just remember two things, that Euler equation that basically reflected everywhere, and this is pretty easy now, because several practice you know that in first place I have to calculate partial derivative of g with respect to x, if that is a scalar. If that is vector, then x I have to calculate dou g by dou x1, dou g by dou x2, similarly dou g by dou xn. Similarly here dou g by dou x dot and d by dt. So in this way Euler equation comes into picture, that is in every case. Here you have to be a little bit become careful, because delta xf, with respect to delta xf, this kind of coefficient comes into picture, and with respect to delta tf, again you can see that same kind of functional I have to repeat, and after that with negative sign I have to multiply this with x dot star tf, and again partial derivative with respect to x dot. So if you remember this particular thing, and if you know the Euler equation, then you are able to solve any kind of problem that is associated with calculus of variation, provided, again, what is our assumption, that x is differentiable, continuously differentiable. So under that situation, just these two things gives us lot of room to solve any kind of extremum, any kind of problem that is extremization of some functional. So due to that reason, this kind of equation comes into picture. Now I have to solve some extra equation. You can see that here basically I have to solve now 2n plus 1 number of equation to 2n number of constant that is from Euler equation, and these are the boundary conditions. So boundary condition is now increased by 1, that is not only 2n. Now let us come to the third case, when final time TF and XTF both are free. Whenever both are free, then now I cannot able to put delta TF equal to 0 or delta XF equal to 0. So I have to force coefficient that is related to delta TF that is equal to 0, and at the same time whatever coefficient that is associated with delta XF that is equal to 0. And if you substitute that, then basically you will get these three sets of equation. This is due to the initial time when I have started. At that time I am assuming that initial state and initial time is known, and after that, since final TF and XF both are free, so we have to solve these two equations. Again 2n plus 1 equations are involved in this process, and I have told you that in some place actually we know that what is relation of final time even if both are free, means TF is free and XF is free, but we know some kind of relation. So same like in the scalar case, now I have generalization. So in place of delta XF, if you put inside that generalized boundary condition equation, then you will get this kind of expression, basically this kind of expression. So please check it. So it is pretty easy to check that first Euler equation remains the same, and after that you have dou g by dou x dot, with whenever we are talking about variation with respect to delta TF, delta XF means final state, and after that what we have observed, that second term, that is g at x star, x dot star, and t, x star and x dot star is vector here, and after that minus sign is there, and dou g by dou x in vector case I have transposed, and after that x dot TF, and that is multiplied with delta TF, and that we have to in place in I have to put, means both are free, we have to do this kind of substitution, and after that you can just put delta TF equal to 0, and if you do that kind of some substitution, then this kind of boundary condition basically comes into picture. Now you have 2n number of Euler equation and 2n one way to determine the coefficient of that particular integration. So in this way you are able to solve all different 4 types of problem. In this particular lecture, what I have assumed that I am assuming that I am not going to do calculation. So how to avoid that calculation? I will see the scalar case and just I am going to do the extension of that. But particularly it is possible to check that what you can do. You can take the generalized case, you can calculate the variation with respect to each and every argument. You can, after calculating variation, what you can after calculating increment, you can collect the variation where only first order term is involved, then you are able to get same kind of expression. And after that I have just discussed the all possible case, and each and everything is just straightforward, so there is no need to worry about how basically these equation comes into picture. Now let us try to see some problem which is basically related to the those case where in that case basically the functional contain more than one independent functions. So here you can see that basically in this particular problem, Jx is function of x1 and x2, and their derivative time is also explicitly involved. So basically z is now g, and I can write like this: x1, x2, and this is also function of time, this is also function of time, x1 dot and x2 dot, again this is function of time, this is function of time, and after that I have time t. So this is the definition of the some kind of quantity which is inside the integral, and after that integral from t0 to tf. I have this kind of definition. Now here end point both are specified, that is given. Then we have to find the Euler equation. So just I have to find the Euler equation. So that is pretty easy. Dou g by dou x1, and after that dou g by dou x1 dot. I have told you that since 2n number of equation comes into picture, so please try to check the argument. And here you can see that this particular function contain argument in terms of x1 and x1 dot. So one equation will come in terms of x1 and x1 dot, and after that you have, after solving that partial differential equation, you have to put that equal to 0. Please see, this is non-linear and time varying differential equation. Why non-linear? Because multiplication of x1 and x2 comes into picture. Why time varying? Because time is explicitly involved here. So if you just equate those kind of term, x2 dot you can keep here, and after that you can substitute all other term on the right hand side, then you are able to see that this particular differential equation is basically representing some kind of non-linear time varying system. And similarly here you can do same kind of calculation with respect to x2, and again you will come up to some kind of equation, and again this is non-linear equation, but luckily this is not time varying. But since whenever you are going to find some kind of extremal curve or optimal curve, at that time you have to see this both simultaneous equation, and due to that reason, in terms of both equation, I can write that this is non-linear time varying equation. Now in next problem, again I have some kind of functional. At that time I am assuming that g is basically function of x1, x2, and time is explicitly here and implicitly here, and after that x1 dot and x2 dot t and t. So this kind of things I have, and again integration from t0 to tf. So that is not function, explicit function of time here. Now what is given to us, that initial time t0 and final time tf is given, and after that you can see that end state is also given. So problem is very simple. Now I have to solve I have to solve the 2n, means 2 states, so 4 differential equation basically comes into picture, and each means basically this is 4th order differential equation, and after that I have to formulate the end condition by putting this kind of thing. So let us see how to solve it. So first I have to solve this particular Euler equation, and you can see here that x2 dot, so 2 order coming from here, 2 order coming from here, so this is 4th order. So I have 4th order differential equation, and 2n, 2 multiplied by 2n is x1 x2, so due to that reason 4th order differential equation comes into picture. We are lucky, so due to that reason we have just LTI, linear time invariant differential equation. Nowhere time varying term is involved, and after that this is called homogeneous because here right hand side equal to 0. Now let us try to see that if you just solve it, then you will get this kind of solution. So in order to solve this kind of differential equation, you can take the help of matrix algebra, or you are able to take help of some kind of software also. So using that either Mathematica you can take, or any other software, then you are able to solve it. Or what you can do, you can involve the standard theory of differential equation, and after that you can just put the in condition and then you will get it. So I am not going to talk in detail how to do solution. Similarly, here you can see that I have now, suppose that if I change the functional, and here in this particular problem you can see that this problem is a little bit tricky. What I am assuming that initial time 0 is given. At that time I know the state x1 is 1 and x2 initially that is 3/2, and time I have started t equal to 0. I know the final time, and at final time x1 is specified but x2 is free. So one final state is specified to us but other is not specified to us. Then how to solve that kind of problem? And you might have seen that nowhere in all four classes I have actually talked about this class of problem. So due to that reason, if you know the generalized boundary condition in terms of delta xf or delta tf, then particularly you have to actually separate those kind of term which contain the x2. And since x2 pi/4, so tf is specified to us, that is pi/4, but delta x2 pi/4 is basically free, and due to that reason you have to substitute coefficient that is multiplied with this term equal to 0, and in that way I can generate the boundary condition. So let us try to see how to solve it. So again I am going to solve the Euler-Lagrange equation. So with respect to x1 I have one solution, d by dt, and after that dou g by dou x1 dot equal to 0. With respect to another argument x2 I have another solution, dou g by dou x2 dot equal to 0. So and after that you can see that for each argument here x1 star means I am going to calculate this particular partial differential equation with respect to x1 star, x1 dot star, and with respect to t. Similar kind of things here and similar kind of things here. Then you are able to get these two Euler equation. And in order to find and this is second order equation, again this is linear time invariant equation, and any standard technique, using any standard technique you are able to solve it, and after that what you will get this kind of things, one curve in terms of term of time and x2, another in terms of x1. So in terms of x1 I have this kind of curve, and after that now you have to calculate the boundary condition, and I have told you that x1 tf is specified. So delta x1 and delta x1 tf, that is 0, x2 tf is free, so that is arbitrary, and actually delta tf is 0 because tf is specified, initial time is specified as well as final time is specified. So here basically you have to check the generalized variation and generalized variation. You have to write each and every term, and after that you have to just separate this kind of term delta x2 tf. You can see that delta x1 tf, that is equal to 0. So there is no need to worry about the variation with respect to this argument x1, but we have to worry about this delta x2 tf is basically arbitrary. So we have to collect all term which is multiplication of delta x2 tf, and after that we have to generate the boundary condition, and due to that reason we are going to generate the boundary condition by solving this kind of partial differential equation. And now you are knowing g, so with respect to x2 you can do this, and after that you can put the final time, and after that you can calculate the all coefficient, and I think that this step is not too hard. So what you can do, please try to check each and every part of calculation, and try to check that whatever calculation I have given here, that is correct or not, and if you have confusion then please let me know. So in this way what we have seen that whatever extremization problem or some kind of optimization problem of some kind of functional, first we have done for the scalar case can be easily extended for any kind of vector case. And basically this is the important, this is basically useful for our practical problem purpose, or whenever we are going to talk about the optimal control problem. So till now again we are continue with the calculus of variation, and calculus of variation is one of the most important area of the mathematics, where we are going to talk about the optimization of some functional. So we are going to search some kind of function which is going to basically optimize some kind of functional. So we have started from very simple case, and after that now in today's lecture I cover the more generalized case where functional contains several independent functions, and then how to extend same kind of result which we have learned for the scalar case to this particular general case. So with this remark I am going to end the today's lecture. So thank you very much.